Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Microsoft 365 Copilot for Executives. And thank you very much for joining us this morning. My name is Tyson Choptain. I'm the Managing Director of the Broadview Networks Business Unit of MSP Corp. And thanks again for your time today. We always appreciate when people take time out of their day to join us for these webinars. I'm very excited to talk about Copilot for Executives. I've been using it now for over a month. I've gotten a lot of productivity gains out of it, and I want to talk today about how we can see quick productivity gains out of the product. And really, that's what we're here to talk about today. It is a game changer for senior management and executive time saving. Talk about some quick ways that you can get value out of Copilot right away. And then we'll touch a little bit about some of the long-term value you can get out of Copilot with your extended organization as a whole. And it gives us a good introduction to AI and what's going to be coming. Copilot's a great way to dip your toe into AI. If you've been playing with or using ChatGPT a little bit, Copilot helps you bring it more to the everyday business use. And it really gives you a sense of what's happening and what's going to be coming with AI in the coming years. We have found the adoption of AI to be very interesting within most of our customer base so far. We really thought that AI was going to go, easy industrial type jobs first into low skill white collar work, then potentially into the high skill white collar work, and then maybe creative and communication. And we have seen an actual reversal on this. We have seen the creative and communication community be the ones that have gathered the most benefit from AI in the shortest period of time, whether it be image generation, whether it be generative AI for text-based information such as ChatGPT, or whether it be starting to use large language models for marketing purposes and for mining databases. We are seeing a lot of that taking place. Microsoft has released Copilot for GitHub, which is an amazing tool set for programmers. So there's a ton of use already for programmers, even with ChatGPT there was. And we actually haven't seen it hit the lower skill and the factory job type worker yet, although we do think those types of solutions are coming in the near future as well. AI is not a flash in the pan. It's not something that we're going to see for a little while and then not see again. It's here and it's here to stay. And if you don't get a handle on what AI is and what it's doing for you and some hands-on experience with what it can accomplish, you're going to be left behind. It's going to be that much of a difference maker for organizations. And the statistics that already tell us is this. It is the fastest rate of technology adoption we have seen in the history of technology. Look at Netflix. It took Netflix 3.5 years to get to 1 million users. It took ChatGPT 5 days. That beat every social media platform. That beat pretty much everything that's ever hit the internet before. That's how popular ChatGPT and the idea of AI usage is already out there in the world, in the marketplace today. So, the days of going, I don't know if I'm going to do that AI thing. I don't know if it's going to be right for me. It's right for everybody. There's a place for everyone to be using Copilot and using AI. And Microsoft has a solution for Copilot for just about every type of knowledge worker in your environment. This wheel represents the entire Copilot family across development, operating systems, browser and search, data and AI, where you can leverage the OpenAI large language models to go deep into your data if that's something you're interested in, ties into the business applications like Dynamics 365. And then, as I mentioned, for the developers, it ties into GitHub and into Power BI and Power Apps and Power Automate. Today, we're going to focus specifically on modern work. We're going to talk about Copilot for Microsoft 365 and how we can take that AI functionality and bring it to your Microsoft 365 applications. So let's talk a little bit about what Copilot for Microsoft is, for Microsoft 365 specifically is. And what it is taking the large language models we're used to, ChatGPT, DALL-E, embedding those into the Microsoft 365 applications you're already using, Outlook, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Teams. Leveraging your graph data, so your Microsoft 365 data, your data in SharePoint, your data in Teams, your data in email, and the internet, grounding against the internet as well, and giving that back to you as generative AI results in those applications to use real time. To see this in a more graphical form, we look at the Microsoft 365 applications, whether it be Teams, whether it be Outlook, whether it be Excel, doesn't matter which application it is. Again, the ability to ask and prompt Copilot from right inside those applications. You don't have to copy and paste out to ChatGPT to a web browser. You don't have to leave anywhere. This is all happening right inside the application. It's leveraging the data that you have in Microsoft 365 using what's called the semantic index, and then looking at the content that's in your tenant. Word, Excel, chats, PowerPoint, email, all of that data is searched. And that is what is leveraged by the indexing and then leveraged by a Copilot to give you your answers. Notice this entire stream is in the Microsoft world. This all stays inside of Microsoft 365, inside of Microsoft servers. You're not taking your data out of Microsoft, out to a third party that you don't have any control of, and having your data leave your organization. This all stays within your organization. So now when you're doing contextual searches or you want to leverage your data for searches, it's safe and secure to do so. So how are executives going to benefit from that functionality? First thing, you get Copilot, you haven't used it yet, you want to try it, stop searching in Google, stop searching in the regular Bing search, and start searching with Copilot. Your web searches will immediately be more valuable, you'll get better information back, and you'll get generative AI prompts after you do your searches. So you'll immediately get better web searching right out of the bat with Copilot, either in Edge or in any other browser if you go to Copilot for Microsoft 365. When you have the licensing and you have Copilot for Microsoft 365, you have the ability to search web or work. So now you can leverage Copilot to search web, just information on the internet in general, but you can click the work option and now you can search your Microsoft 365 data. Again, emails, text message or Teams messages, Teams chat, meeting chats, anything that's in Microsoft 365 is going to be searchable by you with Copilot for Microsoft 365. Gives you some prompt ideas right here. And this is the copilot.microsoft.com. You can go and use this from any web browser, even if you're not currently in an app or you're on a device that doesn't have full app functionality. And then we have Copilot embedded in the apps like Teams. So I can be in Teams. I want to prepare for a meeting that's coming up. I can ask a question. What was the last communication that took place with David Reimer? And it'll bring up email information that I had with David Reimer in the last couple of days. It'll bring up any Teams meeting information that we had, and it'll summarize that information and give me any highlights. So if I'm going into a meeting with David today, and I haven't met with him in a few days. Oh, we had some emails back and forth. We talked about a few things, and it gives you, boom, a quick, easy review of what the highlight information you want to talk to that person about or that company about, what quotes have gone out, what information you have across your entire Microsoft 365 ecosystem. Easy way to prepare for meetings. Email summary. I get a lot of emails every day. And I do not have a lot of time to read through all the emails that I get, in the sense that a lot of them are a stream of 5, 10, 15 emails where other people in our organization have been communicating internally with vendors, with customers, and there might be 5, 10, 15 emails back and forth. And previously, I have to read through all those emails to understand what the conversation was. Not anymore. Now I click the summary button by Microsoft Copilot, ask it to summarize, and I get a quick summary of what happened in that entire set of 2, 5, 10, 15, 20 emails that are in that conversation. And I get links that I can click on to the specific content in the specific emails if I want to drill down to them more. This probably saves me a minimum of 15, 20 minutes a day just reading and reviewing emails. It's funny because I have to remember to do it. I start reading through emails and go, wait, what am I doing? Click the summary button, just read the summary, move on to the next email, or obviously reply if I need to. Huge improvement. And I can use it to help with me with my replies as well, if and when I want to. Double booked for meetings. I personally get booked for a lot of meetings, and I often get booked for 2 meetings at the same time because I'm not necessarily the most critical person for some of those meetings, but I want to understand what happened in them. In the past, I would have to go and watch the recording or read through the transcript of a meeting that I wasn't able to attend after the fact, which takes the entire time of attending that meeting or the entire time of reading through all the information in the transcript that I don't need. Now I can go to the meeting recap functionality and I can just ask Copilot, summarize this meeting for me. Tell me what happened. Give me a list of action items from this meeting. Give me a list of action items for Tyson for this meeting. So what was said that I was going to do in the meeting? What did someone else commit me to? And what do I have to follow up and worry about after the meeting that I didn't actually get to attend? So great time saver when I'm not able to attend a meeting or I'm double booked for a meeting, I can get the gist of that meeting very quickly without having to do the entire view or transcript read of that meeting. Another great time saver. Miss a meeting altogether or late for a meeting. If I'm late for a meeting, I can jump in and say, hey, what have I missed so far, right? Meeting's been going to 10, 15 minutes. I could stop everybody and say, okay, everybody stop talking, catch me up, but that slows everyone else down. I can just say, what did I miss in the meeting so far? And it'll come up with that meeting recap saying, highlighting, and it won't give me 8 pages of text of what was said in the meeting so far. It'll give me a quick couple bullet points that I can read while the meeting's going on and get caught up to speed like I've been there all along. Again, great time saver, amazing way to be able to get multiple things done at the same time. Microsoft Word. Depending on how much you use Word, how much you use the other Microsoft applications, this is a perfect example of how you can take data that's embedded in something like Word and make it more valuable. Copilot was actually able to recognize that there's data that could be better viewed in a table form in this paragraph, and it gives you the option to turn it into a table, make it more usable. You can have it review data. It will summarize text. It'll give you feedback as to how you could write this better. It will use the different publication standards if that's important to your organization. Amazing ways to save time using Microsoft Word to draft content. And it's very interesting how Copilot works and drafts content is different within the different applications. When you go to write content and ask Copilot to review it in Outlook, it's going to give you a different result than in Word, and it's going to give you a different result in PowerPoint. It's going to frame that content for the medium you're using. There's a general concept of how you communicate in email, how you communicate in a letter or in a Word document, and how you communicate in a PowerPoint presentation. And Copilot is intelligently aware of that. A difference with, say, ChatGPT, where you just put text in, ask for a summary, and get text out. This gives you the ability to see that it can contextualize the results for the application you're in. PowerPoint. This is a very interesting use case for PowerPoint. Watch a TED Talk, really good TED Talk. I like TED Talks, watch a lot of videos. I want to share those videos with other members of the team, but I don't want to have 10 team members spend 20 minutes each watching that video. That's a lot of time. So instead, what I can do in about 10, 15 minutes is I can take the notes from that presentation, if they're already available on YouTube, often the transcription is there, or I can play the video into a Teams meeting, have Teams transcribe it. Then I can ask PowerPoint to make a PowerPoint from that transcription. It will create it. It will add images into it. It'll break it up based on the flow. And now I can share that PowerPoint presentation out with my staff, and they can take the information out of that video or out of that TED Talk and get the highlights out of it in a much shorter period of time than if they all spent the time watching that video. Huge time saver for everyone. And building this PowerPoint normally from a transcription would take someone an hour or longer to do. Now it's done in 10, 15 minutes max. You can use it with Excel. We have found depending on your Excel knowledge and capability, your mileage may vary with Excel. Your less powerful Excel users will probably get quite a lot out of it for helping them build pivot tables, insert pivot tables, and review data in Excel. Your stronger Excel users will actually get a lot, won't get as much out of it because they know how to do a lot of that stuff in Excel already. So this is an area that we're seeing improvement coming, but not the strongest area. Some customers getting benefit, but Excel would not be, for me, a reason to run out and get Copilot from Microsoft 365. OneNote, very similar to what it's going to do in Microsoft Word. It's going to take data in a document and it's going to give you the ability to summarize that data, give you takeaway tasks from what's listed in those OneNote notebooks, any of those types of functions that you might want to use on a regular basis. We use OneNote very heavily for documenting all the conversations we have with our customers in our meetings. However, now we're often using Copilot in our meetings, generating the summary out of Copilot, and that's what we're using as the follow-up actions for meetings because it makes it very straightforward and easy to do in a much shorter period of time. So that's really a quick snapshot of what you can do with Copilot in Microsoft 365 against the Microsoft 365 applications, embedded right into Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, Teams, right in those tools. Of course, it's available in the web versions of those tools. There's now also the Copilot app for iPhone and Android. So it's really an experience across all your different platforms that you might be using. But that same experience contextualized to the application, giving you that generative AI, that chat GPT-like functionality inside of that application. This is the area we see executives being able to take the most advantage out of Copilot right away. This is not by any means the end of what Copilot can do for you. This is just the very tip of the iceberg. And Copilot Studio, and there's two formats of this. There's the one that's embedded in Copilot for Microsoft 365. And then there's the full Copilot Studio, let you take Copilot beyond what the canned functionality from Microsoft can do. So Copilot Studio and Copilot for Microsoft 365 allows you to build your own prompts. It allows you to connect to other data, preset data sets from different publishers. Microsoft Copilot Studio, a separately licensed product, lets you actually connect Microsoft 365 Copilot to completely external data sources, whether it be SaaS-based, whether it be on-premise based. There's a ton of connectors out there already. So really, we have the ability to take that Copilot functionality that we talked about 10 minutes ago, where we have the ability to leverage our Microsoft 365 content for Copilot right inside of the applications. And now we're talking about plugins to third-party data sources, Salesforce, other web-based applications you might be using, and bring that into what Copilot can do generative AI searches against. And if you want to go down this road, you could do the custom development to actually take Copilot Studio to link Microsoft Graph into your other data sources, your applications that you have, your data sources that you have that are external to Microsoft 365. So the ability to take it outside of Microsoft 365. So we've taken a significant step forward in the last couple of months with the launch of Copilot for Microsoft 365, giving us the ability to leverage generative AI against our Microsoft 365 data inside our Microsoft 365 apps. With Copilot Studio, we get to take that even beyond our Microsoft 365 data and take it further if we want to. How do you get started? So we have two ways to really get started with Copilot very easily. If you think you aren't sure this is ready yet for you, you're not sure how your organization's going to get full advantage out of it, we have a longer session than today's that really goes into a deep briefing of Copilot, all its features and functionality. We're doing a number of these sessions. They're 90-minute learning sessions, and we're actually offering them for free until June 30th. So those will be coming out and be able to have for people to subscribe to reasonably soon. If you think you have users you can identify in your organization today that want to start leveraging what we talked about today or more, we have a ready to go Copilot readiness engagement where we have one of our Copilot experts connect with 2 or more of your staff and provide the guidance and onboarding, getting the applications configured properly, Copilot configured properly, SharePoint permissions configured properly. That's an important consideration. And a little bit of tweaking of your firewall rules to make sure everything is right for you to be able to use Copilot effectively immediately the day you get the license or within a couple of days of getting the license. Start getting the value like what I talked about at the beginning of the presentation. So I know that was quick. It was designed to be quick. It was designed to give you an idea and a taste of what we can do with Microsoft 365 Copilot. And now I wanted to leave time for questions because I'm expecting a lot of people to have questions, and I wanted to leave the time for that. So we'll open the floor up to questions. You certainly can ask via the chat, or you can ask via the Q&A. Either one works perfectly fine. And I see we already have a couple of questions now. Will the meeting summaries work for fully virtual meetings only or hybrid meetings as well, a tool like Owl as well? So as long as the person who attends the meeting has a Copilot license and the meeting is created from the organization that has a Copilot license, then it will summarize the meeting. So if you attend a meeting that someone else is hosting, another company, you can't Copilot that meeting. You can only Copilot and summarize, therefore, the meetings that you either attended that were created by someone inside your organization, or you were the one who created that meeting. The meetings do not have to be recorded to be summarized. You just have to have transcription on. So you have recording or transcription, which are separate options. So if you turn recording on, it automatically turns transcription on. But if you turn just Copilot on, it turns transcription on. Is there a concern that users can get results with sensitive information if they have too much content? Yes. So that's where I mentioned SharePoint and Teams. A lot of organizations, when they first started using SharePoint and or Teams, may have overshared or given people more permissions than they should have. Copilot will not give people access to any information they don't already have access to, but they could expose information that you didn't realize you had given people access to. So yes, sensitive information is an important idea. And as a part of that readiness engagement, we will do a simple or a brief SharePoint or Teams data review. We may have to go deeper depending on how large your SharePoint, how many document libraries you have, how many sites you have to get deeper into what your permission structure is. But definitely, that's an important consideration. The images are safe to use or copywritten. Sorry, there's a question about the images are safe to use or copywritten. The images that generative AI generates are safe to use. I'm not sure if you're talking about the images that are in this presentation or not. If you want to clarify that question, I could probably answer it. Is there a cost for the readiness engagement to see if it's right for us? Yes, there is a cost for the readiness engagement, and we would encourage you to, I don't know that cost off the top of my head, I would encourage you to reach out to an account manager to get that cost. Someone asked if they could confirm the pricing per person, and I'm just going to pull that up. Yes. So let me bring up, I actually have a pricing sheet I can bring up right here. There we go. So this is how the pricing works. There is free Copilot that is just searching the internet. I talked about that at the beginning. There is a Copilot Pro for individuals. It does not give any access to Copilot in your Microsoft 365 data. So it brings Copilot into the application, but still only web-based data. Then there is Copilot for free for organizations. Again, the web-based searching that I showed in the browser. Copilot for Microsoft 365 is $40 per user per month. So it works out to $488 per year. It is currently only purchasable as an annual plan. So a one-time cost per year per employee you want to purchase it for. And that's where we get Copilot in Teams and your Microsoft 365 data, your enterprise grade data protection, and access to that Copilot Studio for Microsoft 365. I have another question. Will Copilot be bundled with Office 365? It's separate. You have to have certain minimum requirements. You have to have business. You did have to have business standard or business premium. I think it's now been extended to business basic and frontline worker plans as well. So you already have to have a Microsoft 365 plan of some sort, and then Copilot is an additive license to your existing Microsoft 365 plan. Can you retroactively Copilot a meeting recording which has used transcriptions? Yes, but no. So if you were in a meeting that had transcriptions and you had a Copilot license when you were in that meeting, then you can Copilot it after the fact. If the meeting is in the past, you cannot. Oh, the images for the PowerPoint making, they're using non-copyrighted images. Back to the question earlier about the images. It's pulling images off the internet that should be free of copyright. Can't guarantee that, but my understanding is it should be. Also, some of those images are just created using DALL-E as well, and I do not know the difference of when it is or isn't actually creating the image on the fly dynamically. I think there was another question. Oh, okay, I got that first question. Are there any questions in the Q&A? Yes, there are. Question is, sounds like you were saying that special need is the set of Copilot to work correctly. I wouldn't say special function. Sorry, I don't think you need special help to set up Copilot. Certainly, you can go and license Copilot and start using it, and you'll get some benefit out of it. I'd liken it to driving a car. You can jump in a car and you can start figuring out how to drive a car reasonably easily by watching some YouTube videos. How far you get, how safe that is, and how well that goes for you is going to depend on your ability to learn and adapt dynamically on the fly. I would say Copilot is the same kind of idea. Leveraging our knowledge and experience, helping people onboard to it, you're just going to make that onboard experience faster, better, and easier as an end user. It's a guided experience, very much like driver's education. We take you through a little bit of the explanation of how you're going to get the most out of it, how to build the proper prompts, how to get the most results out of the responses you're getting back, how to use it in the different applications, and how to get the best functionality out of it the fastest. So most people would probably be able to get a Copilot license and get some capability going with Copilot in, a week, a month, 6 months. This accelerates it for people and helps people onboard quicker, faster, and easier. The $40 amount is monthly. That's the monthly cost, but you have to buy it annually. So technically, it's $480 per year. Is how it's currently licensed right now. They call it a monthly cost because that's how Microsoft likes to refer to everything in their cloud services. But right now you can only buy it in an annual license. So it works out to $488 a year to purchase it today because there is no monthly purchase option like there is for most of the other Microsoft 365 products. Just going to go back to the chat and see if there's any more questions. Yes, you do not have to. So the question is, are the Copilot licenses transferable? Yeah, you can buy a Copilot license, give it to one user, and then for a period of whatever period of time you want, and then you can move that license to another user. The user that used to have it loses the functionality, and the user you give it to gains the functionality. Yes, this is being recorded, and you'll be provided with the link to view it after the fact. Someone asked if we were going to be providing it afterwards. Yeah, good comment. We show you how to be the pilot of Copilot. We've actually been trying to figure out a good, phrasing to go with that, but that's a very good way of saying it. Yeah, you can Copilot the summary of Copilot. Yes. We find those those summaries aren't as good. What we find is a lot more valuable than just the summary is asking for a list of action items or asking for takeaways. Okay, it doesn't look like we have any more questions. So I think we're going to close off the session. Thank you everyone for your time. Very much appreciated.